So Sunday, it was official. Ram is returning to the Truck Series beginning in February 2026. However, as of now, we still don't know who will drive for the team or which teams will make the switch to Ram for the upcoming season, or when and or if Dodge does decide to eventually move to the Cup Series and possibly Xfinity Series as well. Although it's hinted that Dodge could return to the Cup Series at some point, possibly Xfinity Series as well, again, we just don't have a confirmed date on those two sides of the story. But, that being said, it's a great move, I think. Of course, the question remaining at this point is, well, who's going to make the switch to Ram, and who's going to drive for those teams? I know Michael Waltrip suggested Cletus McFarland and all, and well, that's a possibility, but it does depend on whether or not the YouTuber behind him will want to make a full-time career in racing or not. Now that. Now, the GMS team that was associated with Legacy Motor Club could make the switch to Dodge. Again, sorry, Ram, for the Truck Series next year. But Ram did say they're looking at 4 to 6 teams possibly making the switch for next year. And overall, I think it's great. The more manufacturers in the sport, the better, to be honest. So somewhere, Steve Phelps is breathing a sigh of relief that a fourth manufacturer is coming to the sport, albeit in the Truck Series instead of the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series. But it's a step in the right direction, I'll say that. In addition to all this, the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series will make the first trip to Mexico for the first time ever, or in the Xfinity Series case, first time since 2008, where Kyle Busch ultimately won the race that day. And what's funny is that the 4 races that are combined had 2 different versions of the track. In 05-06, they raced a slightly longer course. Then for 7 and 8, a slightly smaller course. But this go around, neither course will be used. It'll be the national course. And we do have some drivers that are racing both Xfinity and Cup this weekend as well, namely Daniel Suarez and Christopher Bell. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this weekend as well. And don't forget, the CW will be your home for the Mexico City Xfinity Series race and prime for the Cup race. 3:33 respectively, I believe, is the start time for those races. But like I said in my previous video, I've been impressed with Prime's coverage so far, and it's kind of a shame that it's almost at an end. This weekend at Pocono will be it. Then TNT takes over. But the sitting for the $1 million tournament is underway, even as we speak. But it's going to be the average finish from Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono to determine where will the 32 drivers be ranked for the tournament. And I think it's going to be a fun little nugget to keep an eye on for as well when we get to that point. Now, as far as I think who's going to win it, I think the 3 favorites there will be Larson, Bell, and Blaney. Will be the 3 favorites for each of the manufacturers to win it. But we have to wait and see at Indy who will be the final 2 drivers racing for the $1 million. Because that tournament is exclusive to the TNT coverage, as far as the actual tournament goes. You see, not USA or NBC, but the five TNT races. And then, of course, we go back to the regular season, as it were, with Iowa on USA. And in case you're wondering when NBC is going to come back, wait till Daytona in August. And again, I do sympathize with people who can't afford cable or streaming, even though technically streaming is cheaper than cable, but still, I get where they're coming from. But at the same time, you had time to figure things out, to get things in order, but you chose to complain instead of doing nothing, instead of doing something about it. That's on you. But I get it. You want to see races on Fox, NBC only. I get it. But what you don't understand is that races have been on cable for decades. Far back in the 1980s, in fact. But if you'd rather just see the 9 NBC and Fox races, so be it. No one's forcing you to get cable, satellite, or streaming. But all we're saying is that that's on you, not NASCAR, for choosing not to go in that direction. Same thing's true with every sport. Not everything can't be on the over-the-air antenna. That's also why you got regional sports networks for a reason. I mean, unless your solution is to make NASCAR regional for the majority of the races. So that way, parts of the country can get the race, and parts of the country don't. So they can show something else in its place. Is that what you want? So unless you have a better idea in the comments on how all this can be played out for the networks and NASCAR going forward, you got other free options like the Sorry about the interruption, folks. The helicopters, but like I was saying, you still got the NASCAR app to listen to the radio broadcast for free, if I'm going that direction. And of course, highlights on YouTube as well. But ultimately, the decision is yours on how you want to consume NASCAR. Ideally, yes, the networks would make sense. But the thing is, not everyone watches regular TV anymore. Some just stream TV. Whether it's Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, or whatever. Some people just don't watch regular TV anymore. So you gotta put that in consideration as well. And bear in mind, even before 2001, you had races operated by the tracks that CBS, ABC, and NBC did at least one race per year in 1999 and 2000. Or prior to 99, when you had CBS and ABC doing at least one race a year, but the rest was on cable. Whether that was TNN, ESPN, or TBS. That's part of the problem as well. And bear in mind, the Club 600 was on cable before Fox grabbed it in 2001. And until this year, it was exclusive to Fox. So keep that in mind. So just keep that in mind. Especially it's a similar deal with the pre-2001 contract when a provider had a marquee event under their belt. FS1, for example, you could argue that would be the All-Star race, similar to what TNN had as this marquee event. Prime, like TBS, the Cook 600. TNT, like ABC, the Brickyard 400. USA, like ESPN, the Southern 500. Fox, like CBS, the Daytona 500. And of course, NBC, arguably the championship race, as its marquee event, when it comes to the 4 races they're doing. And/or the regular season finale, just like how Miami for 99-2000 was their only event. But the point is that the deal is similar to what was like before Fox and NBC, before schedule became more condensed, as it were. And I get it, streaming is a pain in the neck, especially if you can't afford it, and cable too, but like it or not, streaming is the future of sports broadcast. Don't be surprised that eventually, with the exception of the Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, or the Stanley Cup, or in NASCAR's case, the Daytona 500, don't be surprised if most of the races, if not all of them, will be on streaming at some point down the road. And like I said, compared to cable, currently streaming is cheaper. So before you more or less say, I don't like streaming, I don't want streaming, I can't afford streaming, then, well, I guess you'd be stuck in the past. Because NASCAR and the other sports leagues need to do their best to try to attract a younger audience. And if the younger audience is heading towards streaming, then why can't they try and go for it? I mean, would you rather have them try more new audience into the mix, or just cater to your audience and watch that audience slowly fade away, right, due to age? Just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's all I want to say with regards to the upcoming race at Mexico, Rams return to the Truck Series, and my little rant about how people with antennas are still fussing about they don't want Prime, they can't afford Prime, and whatever. So until next time, whenever that is, I'll see you then. And in case you wonder who I think is going to win in Mexico, for the Xfinity Series, sure, it'd be neat to have a weekend sweep with either Suarez and Bell, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think Connor Stillage would win the Xfinity Series race, to be honest. On the Cup side of things, I think it's going to be either SVG or Allmendinger. Maybe Kyle Busch. But we'll see. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you then. Bye, folks.